Hey, what's up DIYers, Mike Boards with the Mike Boards channel. Thank you for watching. Today we're talking Samsung dryers, and in the event that your dryer is not heating, we're going to talk about the most common causes. Let's go take a look. Step one, safety first. Always cut all electrical power to your dryer. Go ahead and unplug your power cord. And from here, on the back side, if yours is like ours, you have two Phillips screws. Go ahead and remove those. You're going to be able to shift this whole cover plate off. The screws themselves are pretty short. Go ahead and set those aside, and from here you can carefully shift your cover plate back and carefully remove this and set it in a safe location. Next, you have these plastic tabs that go into their connection points. Again, they're plastic. Do not break them, just carefully pop them out of their connection points. Down in there, you have an additional tab right there, and there is a tab on each side. The trick with those is carefully shift up on this panel, again carefully because you're working with plastic, and with one hand on each side shifting this panel up, you can remove those tabs from the slots and rotate this panel outward toward you. And as you pull this panel back, some of you may run into what I ran into, and right down here you have plastic tabs that go into these cutouts here. There's two of them, here and here. And as you try to remove this panel, it will get stuck on those. So what I do is I got this long little teeny rod. You can use whatever you want to. However, I insert it in here and got underneath that tab and carefully applied just a little bit of pressure to release it from the cutouts there. From here, we are going to carefully remove these connection points. In this case, you push down on this and remove that, and you'll do the same for here. From here, we can set the control panel in a safe location. With your panel removed, open up your dryer door, and you've got Phillips screws, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Go ahead and remove those. From here, go ahead and close your door, and 4 additional Phillips screws on the top. Go ahead and remove all 4 screws. After removing those 4 screws, you have pressure tabs here that hold your panel in place. Just go ahead and compress those, and it will release this, and you'll have one on each side. And I recommend holding this panel with both hands as you do this. After releasing those pressure tabs on the back side, be very careful. You have an electrical connection point. Go ahead and carefully remove that. And from here, you can pull up on the panel and remove it. And down at the bottom, you do have little slots that it goes into. And again, just carefully set it aside. After setting that panel aside, come down below, you've got 3 screws. Again, Phillip, and we want to remove this part. After removing those screws, you will shift this portion down until you remove it. Direct your attention to this connection point here. Carefully push down on that tab there, and as you push down, shift the 2 connection points apart. Back up top, and what we want to do is remove this entire upper mount here. And we've got a Phillips screw here, here, there, upper right hand corner, and lower right hand corner. Pull your panel up and out. Be very careful. On the back side, you have wiring in these little tie straps, and these are very user friendly. All you have to do is undo these little plastic tabs there and pull the wiring out. I set the panel aside, and you still have an additional wiring connection here. You can loosen that up, and you just want to get this untangled and out of the way. Just shift it up here where it's not going to get harmed at all throughout the remaining portion of the project. Next, coming down below, YouTubers, this is probably the most tricky portion, and you have your idler pulley way back there. As you can see, that white circle or roller, and you've got your belt, and you've got to reach in there, and you'll notice a spring right there. You will push that pulley away from you, which will ultimately put more tension on the spring, and you can carefully remove the belt from the idler pulley. And I recommend prior to doing that, take as many photos as you can so you know exactly how the belt will go back on. There is a motor down below that it loops around, as well as that upper idler pulley. Back up top, you've got 4 mounting screws that hold this entire portion in place, 2 on each side. Go and remove those. After removing those screws, you have these little tabs here that actually, as you lift this portion up, you can remove it from its little slot. And be very careful. Grab this with both hands so you don't drop it. And the way this works, YouTubers, you have rollers on the back side, and this is the portion I just pulled off. this actual drum rests on those rollers. So as you pull this part away from your dryer, your drum will actually fall just slightly. Back up top, and same thing. You've got rollers on the backhand side, and I'm going to put my entire arm in here, lift up, and carefully pull this entire drum out of the dryer. And be very careful, don't allow that belt to catch on anything. All right, DIYers, check this out, and this is why I wanted to do it this way. You now have an amazing amount of access to all the internal parts of your dryer. Common cause number one, this is your thermostat, and you've got 2 Phillips screws. You've got 2 electrical connection points that feed into this. Just by removing those 2 and removing these screws, you can pull this old thermostat out, insert the new one, and you're on your way. However, in the event that you want step-by-step guidance on how to replace that, we've actually replaced that in a separate video, and that link is scrolling above. Definitely check that out. That is common cause number 1. Common cause number 2 are your coils. And this is also a friendly DIY project. You've got 2 Phillips screws here, and this securing plate comes off, and you can pull your coils off the rods that they slide onto. And then you've got electrical connection points that feed into each coil, and you'll install the new coils, and hopefully that will help. Now, I do have a video showing how to test your coils and showing how to test the thermostat. However, we were working on a different dryer, but it's the same concept and they are very similar. So what I recommend is definitely checking that video out as well. It's scrolling above. It shows you how to test your thermostat and coil to verify which one has failed so you don't buy the wrong part. Moving on, common cause number 3. This is your blower housing, your blower motor. And on the back, you've got 2 connection points feeding into it. On the left-hand side is your thermistor. On your right-hand side is your cut-off thermostat. And believe it or not, this does fail over time, but it's more unlikely for it to fail prior to the coils and the main thermostat on your actual chamber here. However, we can't rule it out, and replacing this is also very friendly, and the part itself is a very friendly price. And again, in the event that you want step-by-step guidance on how to replace this part, scrolling above is an additional video. Definitely check that out. That's in the event that both of those are all good and that cutoff switch has failed. Again, unlikely, however, it does happen. So again, those are the 3 most common causes why your dryer will literally stop drying your clothes, which is extremely annoying. So hopefully this helps. Do us a favor, YouTubers, below the video, you'll see that thumbs up icon. Click on that, like the video, subscribe to the channel. Definitely ring your YouTube bell. That would be very helpful to us. We would really appreciate it. Thanks again for watching.